Hello, my name is Dylan Murphy, and welcome back to the All Ireland podcast. With me today, I have the three members of Rowan. So, thanks for joining me today, guys.
Absolutely, no worries.
Nice one.
Thanks for
So,
having us.
so before we go much further, can I ask you to kind of give an introduction to yourselves? Kind of name out the three members of the band and who does what.
Oh yeah, so my name is Dylan. I sing and play guitar and piano with the band.
My name's Kevin. I play guitar with the band.
I'm Fionn, and I'm the drummer.
All right,
Right in the
brilliant.
bed.
So, can you kind of give me a bit of a background as to what your history is with music? Do you have much of a history of performing individually? When did you all kind of meet each other, and when did the band get started the way it is now?
Yeah, I suppose we would have met. Well, you probably met first years ago up in Donegal.
Yeah, myself and Fionn lived in Donegal together for a few years.
Yeah.
When I was 12, you were 13. And we just had our first band together, and then you moved away, and then we reconnected
Yeah, and then we all
5
met.
years ago.
We all met
Cork.
back then in Cork.
Yeah,
On the music scene there, gigging in different bands.
yeah. Me, I think. Yeah, in America. Yeah, we've all been playing with different people as well over the last while. The likes of Little Hours and Stephanie Rainey and
Frank
Does-
Walters.
the Frank and Walters.
So do y'all live together? So do y'all live in Cork now? Is it?
Two of us do. You did until all this COVID stuff. Yeah.
Kev's homeless at the moment.
Yeah.
And can you give us kind of a brief history as to the band itself? How did you start recording, and what was the process like, kind of formally joining together and finding the style that you have now?
I would have thought it was quite natural anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we'd have all played together in different scenarios, so I think we kind of wanted to make them happen together. So I suppose it's just the difference between being somebody's side musician and kind of coming together then as a band and trying to make something collectively. I think that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, it was kind of a long process, I think, because a lot of the earlier years, the three of us would have been playing with a lot of other bands, so we kind of didn't really focus on this band up until I'd say,
Pretty much.
which was badly timed for us. But yeah.
So this is kind of one project out of a lot of different things that you're all involved in individually. Would that be fair to say?
I suppose it's our main thing.
Okay.
This is our full-time thing, and when we're playing with other people, like that's kind of our session musician job essentially.
Yeah.
A lot of artists kind of, I suppose, might have to job. We still kind of consider music as that side job for us.
Okay. You released your first EP in 2018, isn't that right? It was called Asleep in the Rain.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about the experience of recording the EP? Was it something, was it like a new experience for all of you to be recording together in that kind of scenario, that kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it was. It was new in the sense that we did it with a friend of ours, Robbie, and it was a very casual sort of recording experience, I think,
Okay.
which is great. But yeah, I suppose it would have been definitely different to some other recording experiences
Yeah,
we've had.
sure.
Yeah.
And I've said that we're a much different band than we were back then as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Evolved a lot too.
Yeah. You see,
Sound.
we've been kind of very different stuff at the moment, so we've actually kind of unreleased that EP in the meantime. funnily enough. But we've another EP on the way, so that's kind of more in the vein of what we're actually doing now.
So so what you're kind of saying is that your style has changed a lot over time. Can you give us a bit of an insight as to what would you kind of call your style before, and how has it changed more recently, let's say?
Call it folk anyway.
Yeah, more folk back then.
Yeah, for me, obviously, it's, as a personal thing, it was the big difference was going from piano to guitar.
Okay.
And I think literally even physically that change brought more energy to the music.
Yeah.
I think like I feel if you're sitting at a piano, like you can play ballads all day, but it's quite hard to give as much energy as you are standing up running about the place with a guitar.
Yeah, I think that first EP songs that Dylan had written, kind of like away quietly in your bedroom type of songs, that were then brought to a band. Whereas I think the newer stuff was kind of written with a band in mind, or started from, like a drum beat, or just kind of approached songs differently, I think, and just definitely with a band in mind.
So,
Yeah.
so would I be correct in saying that the first EP, it was more kind of traditional, more kind of folk type, and now your more recent music and the upcoming EP, it's more mainstream, a bit more pop like? Would that be fair to say?
I suppose, yeah.
More indie
yeah.
rock, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. We kind of feel more like an indie band rather than a songwriter giving songs to a session musician. That's kind of how the last EP felt.
Yeah.
Not fully as a band, and we're kind of really working on a sound and trying to develop that as best we could.
So the first EP was recorded on kind of this like ad hoc basis, let's say. You were kind of you were all kind of working on different things, and it just kind of naturally over time came together to form the band that you have now. What happened? What kind of work did you all do kind of in between the first EP and the tracks that you've all released in the past few months? Because you kind of said that
That was probably more busy. Sorry.
No, sorry, I was just going to say that you're saying that it's only really recently that you've made this band your full-time project. What happened between the first EP and, I suppose, putting more time into the band?
I suppose we would have all been kind of touring with various other artists, and like there would be our own gig pop up every now and then, and we would get together for it. But I think just that kind of change in, I suppose, initiative in the band to kind of really make it the number one, and hopefully just more of a full-time thing between then and now. Yeah.
I think we just spent a lot of our own time and our own energy putting ourselves into other people's projects, and we all believed so much in this project that we were like, why don't we just do that for ourselves?
Yeah.
And I think it was that sort of realization that did it for us.
And don't get us wrong, we love all those people.
Yeah.
And we love playing with all those people.
So we'll still play with them.
We're all going to be fired after this interview. No, yeah, it's just a change of, I suppose, we want to put more energy into our own sounds and whatever.
And you said that it was kind of unfortunate timing that you started putting more into the band, and then lockdown and stuff started happening. Has that been a challenge from your perspective?
I think we got a lot done. Like we've written throughout lockdown kind of ones that have been either on the back burner or have been written as a result of lockdown. Like there's about 20 or 25 of it, and I think it's a blessing in that way. But
because we had a lot of momentum going into the summer or the spring that we kind of lost. Like we're looking forward to doing a lot of festivals and gigs.
Yeah.
That was all cancel, obviously, so we just had to like redirect our kind of motivations into writing and whatnot. I think we've done all right with it.
Yeah, I think so. We've kind of we're down in West Cork at the moment, and we're going recording some of those songs that we would have been working on in the past. So it's like a quarantine EP essentially.
So, can you tell us a bit more about that EP? Do you have a specific plan as to what will be on it and when it will be released?
Yeah, so it's going to be a 5-track EP. It'll be released in, let's say, spring next year. Yeah, we have. I suppose it's almost being cautious in case of another pandemic. We kind of have a backlog now of songs and recordings. So I think what we have now is bringing us up to springtime next year. That's kind of the plan. And then the EP that we're recording this week will be out then.
Okay, and you've released a lot of tracks in the past few months. Can I ask when those were recorded and what the experience was like doing those?
When we started doing them, is it?
Yeah.
That would have been, was it October last year or November or something like that?
Around that
Yeah.
time.
We kind of got together then because there's a friend of ours, Michael Fitzgerald. He's working on a project now called Some Rise, Some Fall. He kind of they do a lot of work with charities and kind of promoting, getting those people connected. But he asked us to do recordings for him for his project, and we were working on 2 songs, Finish Line and Big Wave at the time as well.
Okay.
So we said we'd do the recordings for him, and we'll just add on like another 2 days onto that recording session. So we just stayed down there for 4 days, kind of did a track a day sort of thing. So that's kind of how they came about. And the previous song we put out was from about 1.5 years ago.
So I seen online that you had planned to release your second EP called No One Is Safe Here in August. Are those the tracks that have been released in the past few months, like Moonlight and Big Wave and the like? Is that what those are?
2 of those will be on it, yeah. But we've kind of, because of the whole, I suppose, pandemic, we've been pushing stuff back. Just so I'd say it'll be for the EP comes out.
So the next single, which is on that EP, will be coming out in early September.
Yeah.
And then the EP will follow then in October.
Yeah.
Okay. So I suppose looking on a more broad kind of broad focus, like you're primarily based in Cork, and what do you think the music scene is/was like there, disregarding the whole pandemic, I suppose?
I think it's great anyway. Like,
Great music scene.
Yeah, we've all been kind of blessed with the friends and I suppose colleagues, if you want to call it that, that we can kind of, play quite regularly throughout the week. Whether people that, whether it's their own music or whether it's cover gigs or whatever that may be, I think there's just ample opportunity for musicians to actually play and express themselves through music. I think Cork is definitely good for that.
And you've had a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Like the Collins and the Keno, and even like, you come an hour down west, you got Levisis and Idaho and Connolly's Alep and all these places. You don't really need to go too far to kind of reach these amazing venues.
Okay, and you've had a lot of opportunities to cover for other artists and stuff, isn't that right?
How would you mean? For
you covered for Frank and Walters recently, in recent memory, isn't that right?
What is it? Sorry.
Frank and Walters.
Oh yeah. So I play with them a bit, alright. Yeah, playing the band with them.
Open for them as well, which is fun. And Was that January? No,
Oh,
December.
December, yeah,
Cypress
yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we opened for the Franks in Cypress Avenue and the Stunning as well.
Okay, well, fantastic. And would you have had much plans for live gigs before lockdowns and all that started?
Yeah, I suppose we had festivals lined up.
we had quite a
and-
few.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think like the EP would have already been released by now. I think if this hadn't happened, and we probably would have had a tour planned and
Yeah.
booked off the back of that,
Mm.
as well as festivals and whatever else. So it definitely has changed the
Yeah.
whole plan, but for the better.
yeah, it gives us time to getting a more concise aim for where we want to be at and place we want to play and all this stuff. So it gives us a chance to kind of gear up,
Yeah.
go towards that. Gear up.
You mentioned that over lockdown, you had the opportunity to write a lot of different tracks and stuff like that. So do you think that you were very productive over lockdown, and do you think you had kind of different opportunities, let's say, than if lockdown hadn't happened?
I
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely
I
think
think
so.
it's, to be honest, it's probably the most productive we've ever been.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of giving each other songwriting challenges and things like that, and yeah, just kind of sending each other ideas, and the next person would elaborate on his idea, and then that's how we were kind of writing songs.
Mm.
And it was something that we had never done before. To actually explore that sort of side of things.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't think a lot of those songs would have been written if we hadn't time off.
Yeah,
For sure.
Okay.
It kind of gave us space to think creatively and I suppose to surround ourselves with motivation, essentially. Like, we really motivated ourselves to write constantly and work
Yeah.
on the songs and craft them, I suppose.
Yeah, I think when there's a whole lot of time and nothing to do, you need something and you need someone to sort of be there to motivate you. And I think the three of us were kind of there for each other.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
we
now
weren't,
we're
you know.
here for each other.
I think it definitely helped all of us.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
I felt we grew as a band
Sure.
through the last few months.
So, it's kind of funny that, in spite of being socially distanced and all that kind of thing, that it was very much a collaborative effort to write together and really work on your music together.
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a weird one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've all gotten, I suppose, better skills at recording ourselves at home.
Yeah.
And just sending stuff that way, yeah.
Better at Zoom calls as well. Group
Yeah,
calls.
yeah.
But yeah, I think the first investment I made was an interface so I could record from home and stuff like that. And the two lads are already pretty good at that. So I think,
Yeah, you got those skills up.
good for demos.
Yeah, I think for any artist it's important to have that space and time. Because even like there were some songs that we sent each other, and like I remember sending a few and just being like, I don't like that. That's not good. And then hearing it a week later and being like, oh, it's actually all right.
Yeah.
Did I do that?
Did I write that?
Yeah, and we all got confused of who
songs
wrote which. There's a few songs that none of us know.
We kept plagiarizing each other.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, we'll see you later on.
Yeah.
So something else that I noticed over the past looking over things over the past few months since lockdown started, you've been much more active in terms of the whole social media and promotion side of things. Is that something that you'd agree with?
There's been nothing else to do, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, we're good in spells. Like we haven't been great.
No,
So-
no.
But yeah, no, because we got just before lockdown, we got new photos and with Sianya and whatnot, so we had
Yeah.
some more things to publish.
Content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it's very easy to be active when you're releasing something, when something's like coming up quite soon. So yeah, I suppose you'll probably see a spurt in our social media in the next week or so.
Yeah.
With the new song coming out.
I think we did make a conscious of like how much time people were spending on their phones because like nobody was really doing anything. So I think it was a good time to be posting, but then I don't know, maybe it got a bit oversaturated from everyone posting then.
Yeah.
On a more kind of, suppose generally speaking, how do y'all feel about the business and the promotion side of things? Do you think it's an easy or a difficult aspect of being in a band and being a musician?
It's definitely difficult.
I think it's quite hard, yeah.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's quite hard to put yourself in a position to not undersell yourself and not oversell yourself and like get that part in the middle. It's like we know we're not terrible.
Yeah.
And we don't think we're the most amazing band, but listen to our song because it's not terrible. You know what I mean? It's hard to put yourself in that position and sell yourself, I suppose. I'd find that quite difficult anyway.
It definitely is tough. And then you like each release we kind of end up sending 2 emails, and then 200 emails, and then we'll do like a second round of emails, which is another 200, and you might only hear back from 4 people. It's you know, it can be quite deflating, but
there's a lot of rejection on the road, but it always makes it a little bit better when you do get a positive reply from
definitely
people.
Yeah. I suppose it's hard not to take that part. You know, it's always just a matter of saturation, I think.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, it's about it's about selling yourself in one sense, but on the opposite side, you don't want to kind of oversaturate social media and stuff. Is that right?
I suppose.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely conscious of not posting too much.
Yeah. Because individually, we're not like fiends, really. It's not something we naturally do, but we can just do it as part of like the business.
Yeah.
But in terms of like getting onto people and emailing, it can be quite hard. I suppose just not receiving anything.
Okay.
But again, it's kind of you have to take that. Into a different.
I think it just feels like a lot of work for like not a whole lot of guarantee.
Yeah.
But just plowing ahead with it, and
it's all part of it.
Yeah.
So kind of moving forward from that, moving into plans for the future. You mentioned that you're on your way to record as we speak. So would you be willing to divulge in a bit more detail what you're working on over the next while?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose it's a 5-track EP we're working on. We're gonna. That was him. No. He's an amazing producer. We've worked with. He produced the last 3 singles for us, and I don't know. It's great working with him because, but one thing, he's completely blind, so there's no actual kind of visual aspect of when we're recording. It's kind of like use your ears. You know, you don't see the sound waves being recorded or anything like that. It's just like, did that sound good? Whatever, it's kind of, he likes to put it in that perspective, I suppose. It's a 5-track EP recording with him.
This will be a first time in the recording studio where there'll be pretty much no piano as well. It's going to be real like different vibes. We're going to be
that's true actually.
Standing up on the guitars.
Yeah.
And I think all the songs were written over lockdown.
Yeah. Definitely.
And you're aiming for spring, kind of roughly February of next year release. Is that right?
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So on kind of a medium to long term basis, what are your plans? Do you plan to kind of stick together and keep the band as a full-time thing for now? And it might be looking a bit too much into the future, but do you have any plans for live performances when lockdown eases more? And I suppose going forward, what are your plans?
Yeah. Well, our next one is in January. I think it's 20 in Theatre Royale.
Yeah.
Theatre Royal in Waterford. I never know how to say that one. Yeah, that's the next one that's like booked in, planned.
Not cancelled yet.
We're hoping the festival slots just carry on to next year, but I don't think anyone knows what the story with them is yet. Not
Okay.
even the festival. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be doing this for a long time. So
Yeah, no, I think we're definitely committed, and I think we're just kind of playing it by ear to see, what venues will be, I suppose, available to us and make it worth our while, so that we can bring enough people there and make it worth everyone else's while that they want to be there. Because it can be hard to create an atmosphere if you're only allowed 40 people in the room and it's a pretty big room.
yeah,
So yeah, we're just kind of very aware of those kind of things. So we need to wait and see, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah,
what
we're not gonna rush it anyway.
oh yeah, definitely.
We can do it right.
So we're almost out of time, but before we go, can you remind us of the new single that will be coming out soon and when we can expect that to be released?
We missed the first part. Sorry.
I said we're almost out of time, but I just wanted to ask you to remind us of the new single that's coming out soon and when we can expect that.
Yeah, so that's our next single is called "I Had a Dream." It's coming out. Is it the 11th?
11th
Yeah,
September.
the 11th of September.
Isn't it?
Decided it's coming out the 11th of September.
That's the last single off the EP that will be released then afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of about when you have a dream about someone that's great and amazing, and you wake up, you realize they're not real, and you kind of want to go back there and enjoy your time with them again. It's kind of chasing that feeling.
Uplifting stuff.
Yeah,
very
real happy.
And if people are looking online to listen to more, where should they look?
It'll be on Spotify. And, yeah.
Spotify, Apple Music,
YouTube,
Instagram,
follow them,
Tinder, Grindr, all those places.
Okay.
Anywhere that you use your music, it'll probably be on it.
Yeah.
but not TikTok.
Nope. Actually, it will be. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks a million, guys. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and
Absolutely.
I wish you the very best.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you in person sometime.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully soon, yeah.
Absolutely.